The manhunt for Charlie Kirk's assassin shows Kash Patel is incompetent as FBI director.
This is a kind of easy yes for me, but okay, I want to hear your take first.
A no to maybe. It did not inspire confidence in me. And again, you had to worry about his competence. Being in law enforcement doesn't mean that you're ready to be FBI director. Running an organization and knowing how to handle very serious things, he didn't have experience with that. But I think that it was a very brief manhunt. The shooter was found. The FBI and the state of Utah did cooperate and work together. And so I think to rush to he's not the man for the moment, I think that's premature. I don't give him an A on this, but I don't give him an F.
I think it's important to mention how they got the shooter. So the law enforcement had first arrested, you've probably seen a viral video, like an older boomer white dude who was arrested. It turns out he was some dude with a history of mental health issues who claimed he did it. He didn't do it. He was released. Then they detained another person of interest, interviewed them, then they were released. The only reason why we found the guy when we did, Tyler James Robinson, is because I guess his father saw the clips that were released of the shooter, the preliminary images, thought it might be his son, talked to his son, and his son issued a denial. And so then the father did the right thing. I can't even imagine how brutally hard that would be, but went to his Mormon bishop to direct it to law enforcement. They directed it to U.S. Marshals, and the evidence seems pretty overwhelming. You have DNA. He still is innocent in the eyes of the law, but like in the court of public opinion, the DNA, if the glove fits, you must not acquit. So Kash Patel, it's not only that the FBI isn't responsible for finding him, because I understand it's such a crazy event. He was found within, 28, I can't remember the exact time, I think it was 33 hours. It's that Kash Patel spent the entire weekend trying to do a victory lap about himself and his own leadership. And that is not what we need at the moment. What we need at the moment is to focus on getting this guy dead to rights and making sure that if this Discord chat that's been reported, if these other folks knew about this in advance, got to go after that. And look, I think you and I especially, we have always been very critical of the FBI, both its infringement on civil liberties, of course, everything with Trump-Russia, how they botched under Jim Comey especially, knowing things in advance, knowing, like, being tipped off about the Pulse nightclub shooter, being tipped off about the Parkland shooter, all of that. So, like, I am all for Kash Patel cleaning house and making hay. But the fact is that he, prior to this, he had not inspired much confidence in his ability to do the job. And
he saw there's lots of people in all of politics, but particularly in Trump world, who see positions of power as a platform from which to aggrandize themselves. And that's exactly not what's needed here. So it shows a problem with the insider-outsider thing. Trump is right that a lot of these places, DOD, FBI, need an outsider to come in with fresh eyes and clean house. But if that outsider is such an outsider that he doesn't even see himself permanently attached, that you want somebody who's going to come in to DOD, to FBI, and want to change it forever and think about themselves not as a passing through consultant or as somebody who's going to use it as a platform, but somebody who's going to own it and make it their own and try to make it better. So the bring in an outsider is a good instinct in a lot of ways, but I think it's simplistically applied in some ways with some of these appointees by Trump.
And also, not to defend like career swamp monsters, but working in government isn't sexy, especially if in a place like FBI, it's not a 9 to 5 in the building, it's probably like a 8 to 8 in the building, right? This is not a work from home job. I think a lot of these podcasters, someone like Kash Patel, who like was a huge influencer, right? The lifestyle you can live is pretty cushy in terms of you're making a lot of money, you probably don't have to go into an office, you can work whatever hours you want. It is a pretty big lifestyle change. Like, I even know people who go from media to working for press shops with like members of Congress. Like, oh, I need to be in the office at 9 a.m. And it's like, yes, because it's government. You physically have to be there. And like, I do wonder, like when Dan Mungino is like crying on TV about like how hard the job is.
I gave up everything for this. I mean,
how much of it is just like the culture shock of of like the workday itself.
Well, and just a lot of I dotting and T crossing that goes into reforming agencies. And one of the weaknesses of the first Trump administration was thinking stuff would be easy.
Yeah.
And then in the second administration, what we're hoping for is people who realize it's not going to be easy doing it. And that is what I see as the more valid critique of Patel, is he treating it as seriously as he can? But again, I think it's premature at this point, before we know absolutely everything about the investigation. When the guy was caught very quickly, it's premature to give him the failing mark.